Hello everyone, Primal Gamer here, and this is a top 10 favorite Monster Hunter monsters via fight. So, what I believe are the 10 monsters that have the best fight. This is a compilation for World and Rise, 5 from each. And this is just my personal opinion on which monsters have the best fight. I hope you all enjoy the video, and I will see you all later. Coming in at number 10 is Black Veil Val-Hazak, my second favorite Elder Dragon in Monster Hunter World, and one of my favorite fights in the game of Monster Hunter World, Iceborne. He is very well designed, and I think he is a great fight. Annoying at times, but if you come prepared to deal with him, he's not the worst monster. The many things I like about Black Veil is just what he does to shake up gameplay. Sapping your entire health bar if you don't have Null Berries or Effluvium Resistance can really add spice to the fight, since it means you have to find a good blend between being aggressive and being defensive. If you're too aggressive, you have a high chance of making mistakes, and then that's going to cost you big time. Especially since you might run through all your Null Berries, or you don't have Effluvium Resistance, or you just don't have Null Berries. If you play too defensive, you're going to be in the quest with him longer, which is more chances for him to sap your health bar, more chances for him to hit you with his Effluvium and cut your HP in half. So you need to find a really good blend between being aggressive and being defensive against him. And I think that's one of the many things that really makes him stand out as a good Elder Dragon. Annoying, but not overbearing. I wouldn't certainly call him the most annoying monster in this game. He's not Gyarados, thank fuck for that, because he is a really good design. And if given the time in practice, especially since his armor is still very good, just like normal Val-Hazak, he is worth the grind, he is worth fighting. I definitely think he is a top tier Elder Dragon, and one of my favorite fights in Monster Hunter World. And that's just only a few things. There are so many things I can go on about him, such as like how his armor looks. His weapons look kind of shit, and I'm not really going to go into his weapons and armor because that's just more complicated, but definitely fight-wise, he stands out as a very good candidate for a top 10 list for me, being my second favorite Elder Dragon, having a great design, and having a very interesting gimmick on gameplay. I definitely do believe he deserves his spot at number 10 on this list. Coming in at number 9 is Amatsu from Monster Hunter Rise. There's not much to say about Amatsu other than that he is visually amazing. His weapons are some of the best weapons Rise has to offer, having the highest raw damage, decent water element, not the best water element, but when you're supposed to be like a raw damage build, you're not really supposed to have that. I believe all his weapons have a 10% silk bind, or I believe it's silk bind. No. Whatever the skills are, like the I think it's silk binds. I could be wrong. Like the wirebug skills, I believe they get a damage boost whenever you use them, 10% damage boost. So it's like having, I would say maybe like a 1 tier or like low tier Frostcraft, or even like I think tier 1 Agitator, or like tier 3. I don't really remember the stats of those skills. So his weapons are great. He's a fun fight. His face too is amazing. He looks genuinely really good, well designed, really well telegraphed. I love his moves. His hazard quest really even added on more challenge to an already difficult fight to anyone who found Amatsu easy. I fought Amatsu a lot, so I really like the hazard for that reason. Very nice to have a challenge where he's even harder than he already is, because I still struggle against Amatsu at times, just due to how much he can mix you up with all his crazy moves. It really makes me appreciate him and the work they put into him, bringing him into Rise. Definitely a well-designed fight. So, I definitely do believe he's worth number 9. He would be higher if it weren't for the other monsters just having nicer fights and better designs than him, in my personal opinion. But the fact that he has the best weapons in Rise, pretty much, some of the best damage weapons in Rise, makes him worth fighting. He's a good fight, and all those combined, and oh yeah, his Hilma armor looks sick because they fly, but all that combined make me put Amatsu at number 9 on this list. Very good fight. Number 8 on this list goes to Gore Magala in Monster Hunter Rise. One of the amazing fucking fights in this game. I love Gore Magala. He's a well-designed monster. After all, he did win, I believe, the 5th most monster of Monster Hunter 2024 in that vote. So people adore him. He's wonderful. A very good monster. I love the Frenzy Virus, making you really go from playing even defensive classes like Lance and Gun Lance and all that to super offensive, fast-paced combat. I truly appreciate the Frenzy Virus for that reason. Because I am a big fan of fast action play. I love fast-paced fights like that. I love it when combat is super fast and aggressive because that's how I like fighting. So Gore Magala feels like a monster specifically designed for me to love, and he definitely does a good job at that. A well-designed monster. His weapons look very, very cool. Definitely worth fighting him. He's a fun afflicted monster to fight as well because he doesn't feel unfair or cheap. He feels like he mixes you up. But half the time when you mess up against him, it's on you. He doesn't feel like he's cheap and has bad hitboxes like some other monsters. And there's so many things I love about this fight. I love his design. I love I love pretty much everything about him. I love the entire Magala family. I love Gore. I love Shigaru. I love Chaotic. I love fucking all of them. They are all so well designed. Risen Shigaru. It's absolutely wonderful. These guys are so well designed and so well made, and just absolutely wonderful fights that I'm so glad Rise included all of them. Because the last game they were in was Generations and Generations Ultimate, which was still a good game. I'm not very far in it, unfortunately, but very good game, very good monsters. I love these guys. I'm so glad Rise included them, because I enjoy hunting them so very much. Although this one was kind of a no-brainer, a lot of people love Gore Magala. But the only reason he's here is because some other monsters fit his role better. At number 7, we have Risen Kushala Daora, my favorite Risen Elder Dragon to fight. I love all the Risen Elder Dragons except Chameleos. Fuck Chameleos. I cannot stand fighting that thing. I get a lot of people like Chameleos. I get the invisibility and stuff is cool. I've always found him annoying and problematic. But enough about Chameleos. Let's talk about why I love Risen Kushala Daora so much. Being my favorite Risen Elder Dragon, I love what they did to Kushala in Rise. In past games, he was so boring and dull and not fun to fight. But Rise really made him super aggressive. His moves flow into each other perfectly. He has actual combos and is super aggressive and keeps you on your toes. He doesn't give you much breathing room, but he does taunt almost at the end of every single one of his attacks so you can actually hit him because of how fast-paced and aggressive his fight is now, which is something I really love they did. Rise Kushala is definitely the best Kushala. So Risen, I love the golden wind on him. I love his design when he's in his Risen mode. Absolutely wonderful. Hazard is even more challenging than he already is, and that's something I can really respect. I love fighting as Hazard, Risen, Kushala is the only Risen Elder Dragon, is the only Hazard Risen Elder Dragon that I have actually successfully killed. He was the only one. And it took me a few tries. That's how difficult he is. Still my favorite Risen Dragon. I love fighting him. He's a great fight. He looks amazing. And powerful, but also, and doesn't give you much breathing room, but due to how much he taunts, he's very fair and very balanced in my personal opinion. And for that, I feel like he deserves the number 7 spot. One of the best, if not in my personal opinion, the best Risen fight in Monster Hunter Rise. In fact, I would really love to see him come back, or even see all these attacks on Kushala in the future. That's how much I love this guy. He is a wonderful fight, and a worthy monster for this list, in my opinion. Coming in at number 6 is Savage Deviljho from Monster Hunter World Iceborne. I absolutely love this guy's fight. He's a rebel, he barges in, so very annoying, but when you fight him by himself, he really puts on the pressure. He's a very challenging monster at times. He can be very annoying. Yes, he has all those like wobbly, unsafe attacks that can really punish him. Like if you're using a ranged weapon, you can easily punish Savage Deviljho and kill him very easily. I agree on his own, he's not that difficult. It's when he gets involved. But I love his design. I love his fight. His weapons, I love the glowing effect on his weapons. He is a wonderful monster in my personal opinion, to the point I want to craft every single one of his weapons just for the fun of it. That's how much I enjoy his fight. You don't become someone's third most hunted monster in a game by being bad. At least to them. Savage is personally my favorite invader. I love Deviljho. He's my favorite invader. I prefer him over Bazelgeuse. I prefer him over all those other ones. At least before the invaders in the older games, because I've only ever played Generations Ultimate and I'm not very far. But a wonderful fight, a wonderful monster. I absolutely adore fighting him. I love his design, I love his attacks, I love his weapons. Well, not all of them. God forbid, some of them look absolutely atrocious. But I still want to craft all of them, just because I love that effect on them. His armor is also meh, but I don't really care too much about that, since if I'm really running, I don't really run his weapons at all for Laird, because I just love the design. I just think they look all cool with their glow. A good monster, when he inflicts double defense down in the Guiding Lands especially, he can really fuck you up. So and because of all that, he definitely earns the number 6 spot. Number 5 is Fatalis, the legendary black dragon that inhabits Castle Schrade. Fatalis is one of the best fights in Monster Hunter World Iceborne, if not the most challenging fight in the game. Up there with Alatreon and all of them. He is a really difficult fight. But he's also very, very fun, very telegraphed, and if you know his moveset, he is extremely rewarding when you understand all his timings. A wonderful fight, and of course, he has some of the best, if not the best, raw weapons. He has the best raw weapons in the game. They all look pretty amazing. His armor, especially for the males, is absolutely amazing. Females, I still do like the armor. I love the weapons especially. His weapons are really well designed. They're so strong and powerful. His gear is absolutely overpowered. But he really makes you have to work to get all that. And that's something I can really appreciate about him, is how you have to work if you want to get everything like that. Of course, with his armor also having max decoration slots, you can make so many different kinds of builds with it too. And that's one of the many things I love about like the Fatalis armor. It's just its sheer variety and like sets you can run. It definitely makes him stand out more. Although he is not although personally, I would put Safi Jiva here. It's just Safi is not out right now. So but it's a tie between him and Safi. I think they are both just as good as each other. So definitely, absolutely wonderful. A wonderful Black Dragon. A wonderful fight. Good. I love the backstory of Fatalis and Castle Schrade and all that. And how he really makes you work for that finishing goal of killing him. Alatreon takes the number 4 spot for me. Just like Fatalis, a very powerful, legendary Black Dragon, able to control all the elements. His design is absolutely amazing. I love the look of his weapons. His armor, for the males especially, sorry girls, his armor for you sucks, but for the males, it looks so fucking sick. And all that. The wearer being surrounded in dark, like, energy and aura, like a negative aura, is just amazing. A really well-designed fight. I get he's controversial to this day with Eschaton Judgment in needing element weapons. I get that. I used to hate Alatreon too until I really took the time to understand him. And that's something I can totally understand why people would hate on him for. I used to as well. I used to absolutely despise his fight for this reason. It took me over an entire year to beat his special assignment. But ever since then, and moving on and fighting him more and more, I really started to appreciate just how much fun he was. A fantastic boss, a wonderfully added Black Dragon. I definitely think there are still issues with him. Of course, Eschaton still being a huge topic as it is, and I can understand people believing DPS checks don't belong to Monster Hunter and whatnot. In my personal opinion, I think DPS checks are fine because it really just shows just how much effort and time you put into your build. If you pass the DPS check, it shows that you put a lot of time and effort into crafting your build, and that makes it very rewarding. Of course, the need of Element to fight him is very unique, as he is the only monster that requires it to survive. And all these things and how he shakes up gameplay makes him worthy, in my opinion, of the number 4 spot on this list. A wonderful Black Dragon. Number 3 is Gasmagorm, the final boss of Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. There is not much to say about this guy other than he is a complete and utter badass. I cannot think of anything bad about him off the top of my head. His theme is absolutely 100% wonderful. His design, he looks exactly like a devil. Perfect. I love his phase transitions and how cool he looks when he's covered in fire. He was the one behind everything, responsible for the Citadel's original castle being destroyed, the one who corrupted Malzeno with the Curio, the one who, the Curio's true host. He was the one behind it all. And I love that. His theme truly also reflects that, with it sounding like he's lurking before he finally emerges. I love that. His weapons look sick. His armor looks awesome. I cannot think of anything bad to say about him. Everything on my mind about Gasmagorm is absolutely amazing. He is a wonderful final boss. And although we might not ever see him back in any other game, I would be okay with that. Because I get a lot of people, talk shit on Rise. Because yes, it tried too hard to, it did try a lot of things. And I know a lot of people didn't like the mechanics of it. I personally love the wire bugs. Sometimes I prefer them over the Clutch Claw, sometimes I don't. But due to this, I think Rise is a great game. Gasmagorm is a great final boss. Definitely worthy of the number 3 spot. Not to mention, he's also my favorite Elder Dragon in Monster Hunter Rise. No other Elder Dragon can top him when it comes to design, fight, theme, weapon design, and armor. Coming in at number 2, runner-up on this list is Chaotic Gormagala, my favorite monster to fight in all of Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. I love this guy's fights. I love how he really throws you and confuses you, and it's confusing for him. I love his whole gimmick of putting on a spin of Gore and Shigaru together. He puts on a wonderful spin on it. He is a fantastic monster. Good design. His armor looks amazing. His weapons look amazing. They have a unique gimmick of when you cure the frenzy virus, you get positive affinity. His armor has really good skills. He is a fantastic monster. He wouldn't be my most hunted in Rise if he wasn't fan-fucking-tastic. The only other game I have played that he is in is Generations Ultimate. And I'm not even at him yet because I'm not even at G rank in Generations Ultimate. So Rise is the only edition I have experienced so far. And if this is how he is in Rise, I'm very excited to see how he is in the older games. I know there's a few differences. I know knocking him out of his frenzy mode is not a hard knockdown like it is in Rise. Even then, it doesn't bother me all that much. I absolutely adore him. He is a wonderful fight, a wonderful monster. And there's only one other monster, I believe, in all the games that can top him, as he is only number 2 at runner-up. But he is still my favorite monster in Rise. So while he may be runner-up out of all of them, He is still my favorite monster to fight in all of Rise, just barely beating out Gasmagorm in terms of sheer, like, dynamic battle. Because Chaotic is actually very challenging, especially higher up in the Anomaly tier. He can throw you off of his confusion-based attacks. He hits extremely hard. I love it when he enters his frenzy mode. I love his design, love his armor, love his weapons. He is just a fantastic monster and worthy of number 2. And if I have to say all this about him, number 1 could only be even better than he is. And he is already amazing and cannot be replaced. Number 1 goes to my favorite Elder Dragon in all of Monster Hunter World, Iceborne, and probably all of Monster Hunter, Kolv Taroth. There's not much I can say about her that would make me just praise her even more than I already do. I hold Kolv to very high standard. She is one of my favorite, if not, no, my favorite Monster Hunter Elder Dragon. I love her design. I love her fight. I love her weapons. I love her armor, especially for girls. I love everything about her. She's challenging, has bad RNG, her theme is wonderful. Everything about her but her bad RNG is what puts her down for me. So while she is wonderful, I can see why people wouldn't like her due to her RNG playing a huge role in her fight, but to me, it's all worth it. Kolv is what I would call a almost perfect monster, because no monster is perfect, but she is very, very good. There is a reason why, out of all the Monster Hunter games I've played, no monster has taken up more hunts for me than Kolv. Having almost hunted her 200 times, I can say I know her moveset off the top of my head. My favorite thing to do is just go for back-to-back eye slashes on her. Going for amazing great sword punishes because I know everything. And all that. I cannot even say much more about Kolv that has already been said. That's how good she is, in my personal opinion. No monster, I don't think, even in Wilds, will ever come close to the impression she had on me. And only time will tell if that does happen, but I absolutely love this monster. Wonderful design. I love the Caverns of El Dorado. I love the mini little snake you can get that's super duper rare. I love fighting her. I don't really care for her siege as it's boring and bland. That's one of the many reasons why I actually used to hate Safi's fight. I found him repetitive, but I enjoy Safi much more now than I used to. But enough about Safi. Kolv takes the crown of my favorite Monster Hunter monster to fight and my favorite monster out of all 229 monsters. She is my favorite. And I don't know if anything will ever change that about her, if I'm being honest. Even when Wilds comes out, I don't know if they'll ever have the impression that Kolv Taroth did on me. That is how much I love her fight. That's how much I hold her to such a high standard, and that's how much I adore her. She is absolutely amazing. And honestly, I don't think any other monster can ever top her for me.